Hey, happy Sunday evening, guys. Let me get this going over here on this side. We'll get things started. Let's try this one more time. I think I always jump the gun when I'm trying to get this up here and running. There we go. Okay. Well, there we go. Finally got the comments up and running. Hey, this is Tara with Tarabeth Stamps. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Mid-Missouri. If you're here, give me a shout out. Hey, Amy. Hey, Susan. Thanks for joining. Tonight we're going to do a sympathy card. So this is one of those cards that, you know, as card givers and makers, we hate to use these, but it's a necessary evil. So I've got someone that I've got planned to send this out to. So this is going out tomorrow, and so I thought I'd go ahead and share how we did it tonight. So I'm using Stampin' Up's two-tone Flora, and so it's even a little cute fun fold. So beautiful sentiments, beautiful stamps, and it all pairs up. Hey, Angie, thanks for joining. So it pairs up beautifully. So we're going to get started tonight. I've done some stamping and die cutting ahead of time. I'm still going to do it. I just can't guarantee we're going to use that product. Just because I have found with the two-tone Flora, it is a little forgiving, but some of us are perfectionists and we really want things to line up perfectly, and it's not always doable online. So we're going to use this two-tone Flora stamp set. Hey, Mary, thanks for joining. We are going to use the Something Fancy stamp set. These are both available in the January to April mini catalog. I am going to let you know that I would really recommend, if you like these stamp sets and you don't have them, go ahead and grab them. I'm going to adjust my light a little bit and see if that helps a little bit. Just because things are selling out, and if they're not going to be carried over, I think they're going to just stop doing it. So if there's something that you see that you want, go ahead and grab it. It's a great time to do that because Celebration is just going on for 2 more weeks. We've got until the end of February to grab those free items, and you don't want to miss out on that. We are also going to use the Inspired Thoughts stamp set. This is from the annual catalog, and it's a great sentiment stamp set to have in your stash. You've got thank you, congratulations. There's some sympathy, sending healing thoughts this way, a little bit of Christmas. So it's a time to be remembered, to feel appreciated, and know you're celebrated. I think that's perfect for Veterans Day. So lots of really good sentiments on there. So that's a staple that you'll need to have. So let's start out and do a little stamping first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of a small piece of Very Vanilla, and then I have the inside piece as well. And I'm going to start out with a couple of pinks. So on stamp sets like this two-tone Flora, this is definitely a 2-step stamp. And you can do it one of 2 ways. You can do a first generation with the outline and then stamp off the solid so that it's mirrored almost perfectly, just a very light tone and a dark tone. Or you can use 2 different colors and do them full strength both time, which is what I'm going to do this time. So I've got some Flirty Flamingo and some Blushing Bride. And what I like to do is I like to use the outline stamp first. You're going to see everybody does things a little differently, but I like to do the outline first. I think it's easier to line up that solid. All right, so we're going to hold our breath and hopefully get a good image with these. All right, I'm going to do one on the inside that we're going to do. And then I'm going to take my stamp block. I took that stamp off. I'm going to shut this so that I don't get inky everywhere. And then I'm going to do a little Blushing Bride. Ooh, that's not sticking well. Let me clean this stamp off. I've been playing in the ink all day long, so let's see here. So sometimes with these photopolymer stamp sets, if you've inked them up and you've played with them a lot, they may get some dust and dirt and gross grime on them. And so they don't stick to the block very well. And all you really have to do is you can just clean them off really good and they'll stick to that block right well. All right, so what I'm going to do, you can tell that there is the outline for the center that goes right here. Oops, look, I got ink on there. Let's flip that over. We're going to try that one again because we don't want that inky corner on there. Maybe I need to wipe my hands a little bit too. All right. There we go. I'm going to clean that off and go ahead and pull it. There we go. I need some more ink blocks, stamping blocks is what needs to happen. So it's a perfect time for me to order those with Celebration. So I'm going to go ahead and do that probably this week. All right, so I'm just lining this up and doing the solid stamp. All right, we're going to do the same thing over here on this side one that we're going to die cut. And that one turned out better. All right, so we're going to do that. And then I have, let's do the yellow ones. So on this one, I'm going to use soaked saffron and crushed curry. So crushed curry is obviously that darker side. I'm going to set that out of the way so I don't get ink all over it because that's going on the inside of the card. All right, so we're just going to ink up this crushed curry. There we go. And then we have the solid that we're going to do with the soaked saffron. So the other thing that you need to know is there has been rumors that there's going to be a color refresh this year. So the annual catalog comes out in May. So that means that they're going to do this color refresh, which means there's a potential that some of these inks and cardstocks are going to be disappearing. Okay, we're going to ink up this multi-flower one here and give it a little stamp. And then we're going to use the soaked saffron. So if you've got colors that you love, especially if they're in colors, you need to grab them while you can. I hate to sound like I'm really pushy, but I don't want anyone to miss out on some of that stuff that they absolutely love because they didn't know, because we didn't tell you. So that's a huge thing. Make sure you're grabbing up that cardstock. Make sure you're grabbing up any of those inks that you love that you can't live without. All right, I'm going to open this up and put some of these away. And then let's go ahead and do one more small pink one. So as I said, I like to do the outline first. That's just my personal preference. So we're going to pull out these pinks again. So we're using Flirty Flamingo and Blushing Bride. I'm going to give that a quick swipe. Put it back over there. And then we're going to go with the Blushing Bride. And I'm going to flip this around so that it looks like. Now, see, Mary, I would disagree with my flowers being perfect. They're better than they were. I'll tell you, about an hour ago, I was stamping these things like crazy, and I'm like, these are all terrible. But I love these this pink and yellow together. I will say that. All right, so let's do, I'm going to throw these two stamps in the case so I don't lose them. And then we're going to do a little bit of greenery. And I'm going to grab another piece of very vanilla here because I kind of got wild on that one. And I'm going to bring in some Evening Evergreen. Well, that is true. We are our own worst critics, but all right. And then we're going to do a couple of other leaves. I don't think I got enough ink on that, so we're going to do that again. there we go. All right, so lock this up, and I'm going to bring out my mini boho mini machine. And Stampin' Up! Came out this week with a little bit of information. People are having problems getting their plates to go through. And one of the things that they said you really need to do is layer your plates like an E. So the center plate, the plate that you place your cardstock in your die cut, is best if you pull it back just a little bit. So I don't know if you can kind of see that, but there's that E that they're talking about. And I have also found, I like to do that, but I also have found that, let me pull out my die cuts for this, or my dies here. I have found that if you line it up, and I don't use any tape, or any washi tape, or any post-it notes, or anything when I'm die cutting with my mini, like I would with the other one. So what I do is I feed this through. I bet you all can't see that. I feed this through, and then I hold it down with my thumb and get it cranking, and then I get it to going. And that doesn't shift the dies at all when I start doing that. So see, I've got that perfect edge right there every time. And I think that's really helpful when you're doing that. So that's the only one we're going to die cut because I have most of it done. Now we do need to do the sentiment. So let me pull out a piece of soft succulent. And I have the sentiment from the Something Fancy die set. And I'm using Deepest Sympathies. I'm just going to ink it up real well. Stamp it right there. It doesn't have to worry about it being straight or anything because it's getting a die cut. Die cut's gonna fix that if it's crooked. We're gonna bring out the Something Fancy. So this is a great set that has all sorts of different shapes that are perfect for those sentiments. And then we're gonna line that up. I'm gonna bring that die cut machine back in. I'm gonna set it up with my E. Now the other cool thing about this die cut machine is you can get this for really just $30 this month with a starter kit. The starter kits are usually $99. There's my E, and I'm going to clamp that down and start it feeding. The starter kits are $99. You get $175 worth of merchandise. So you're already getting almost $80 worth of free stuff. But if you go ahead and get the mini die cut machine, you add the starter set is $129. And then you're getting this boho mini machine, or you can get it in white if you prefer, for just $30 more. So that's a $64 machine for just $30. You can't beat that deal, if you ask me. All right, so now, let's finish up stamping the inside. Where did that go? I set it out of the way so I wouldn't get it gross. All right. We're going to bring out this gorgeous sentiment from Inspired Thoughts that says, sheltering you with love at times when words fall short. Hey, Karen, thanks for joining tonight. I hope everybody's weather was awesome today. Here in Mid-Missouri, we had 60-degree weather. My husband grilled outside. It was awesome. So we've had a pretty amazing weekend here at the Carpenter House. If you guys follow me on Instagram or my personal Facebook, you'll see that baby boy was district champion yesterday at his wrestling tournament. So he's a senior this year. He has always done very well. He's just always fallen just a little bit short. And yesterday was his day. So we're very excited. Yeah, toot those horns. Hey, Jamie Sue, thanks for joining. So we are super excited. We've got state this week. So this mama is full of nerves all week long. Like nobody's business. But it's going to be fantastic. I know it's his year. All right. So there we go. So that's the inside. That's what we're going to do for that. And I'm just kind of cleaning up these stamps as I go along with my chamois. All right. Ooh, I am inky tonight. Do you ever have days like that where you just get inky, inky, inky? You don't even... Oh, thanks, Amy. Ooh, freezing in New Jersey. No, I want no parts of that. You can keep that all the way up there. All right, so I've already cut some DSP, and I want to make sure I set those right there so I don't forget. So what I've got is I've got some So Saffron. I have some Country Gingham, and some of the, ooh, I don't even know the name of this. What's this? Fancy Flora DSP. So I'm not going to lie to you, this DSP kind of intimidates me a little bit. It is, it's hard for me to use. It's beautiful. I don't want to cut it up, but it's gorgeous. And that's part of my, I'm going to try to do that this week. I'm going to try to use some of that stuff up that I'm a little intimidated by. All right, so I took some of that, and we're going to take some Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to line this up. And before I set it down, I'm just going to kind of set it down to make sure that I have a good even edge around there, and then I'm going to run that across. I feel like this, you can make this work as well as the liquid adhesive. Liquid adhesive is nice because it gives you that little bit of wiggle room. But I'm kind of with liquid adhesive the way I am with ink right now today. Sometimes it's just all over me. Okay, so I'm just going to check that edge. There we go. Okay, so I have half a piece of cardstock, half a piece of Evening Evergreen, and instead of scoring at 4.5 like I normally would for a portrait card, I have scored it at 1 1/4 and 5.5. So what that's going to do is that's going to create kind of a gate for me. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it and burnish it right here on the edges here. And then what's going to keep that locked down is these die cuts that I have put on it on dimensionals. So it'll just slide right in there. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up because I want to make sure I get that nice, good, even edge around here. And this is the point where I want to decide if I want this at the bottom or this at the top. Because this isn't symmetrical, I think I'm going to go ahead and put it on the top this time. All right, so we're going to use some seal. And I like this because this has a really good grip. All right, I'm just double checking that I've got a nice even edge. Then I'm going to roll that over. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to open this up. And before I check, I'm just going to check and make sure that I've got good even coverage. Well, I'm glad you like the layout. Thanks, Amy. All right. Right here, making sure we've got a good edge before I tamp it down. Yep, we're good. All right, so we've got a nice little gate fold that's just kind of a side gate fold. So I'm going to take some Stampin' Seal and I'm going to go ahead and add my sentiment where I want it. And the reason that I'm going to do that is because I want to make sure that my flowers are where they need to be, and that this is going to kind of give me that idea of where it needs to go. All right, so here's all my flower die cuts here. And one of the things that I haven't done yet is I've got some Stampin' blends. I have Calypso Coral and I have Daffodil Delight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just open this and color these centers here so that it kind of finishes it off. So most flowers have yellow, is it stems? Is that what they are? I feel like that's what they are. And I'll be honest, I thought I had a flirty flamingo when I grabbed this, but I used it earlier and it worked well, so we're just going to use it. Just doing those pink centers for that. And then we'll do a little bit of yellow in this little one here, this little guy. So one of the things I do when I'm stamping flowers, stain them. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. All right. One of the things I do is I look up the flowers online and kind of get some visual photos. That way, I know that they're going to be close to what's out there. Okay. So we're going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm only going to put, I'm using these minis. And the reason that I'm using the minis is because this is what I have on my table. But I'm just going to pull these off. And you'll see I'm only using them right in the center because we don't want to put it too far out because we want that to clip down there. All right. And now I'm going to take a little bit of liquid adhesive. You'll notice I'm using my tweezers because, like I said, that liquid adhesive gets me every time. All right. I feel like I like this one today. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And just slide it right down in there. All right, now I am going to take my snips. I'm just going to cut a little bit of that off just because I don't need all of that right up here. Yeah, that's about where I want it. We're going to pick it up with my tweezers. Well, you got to use Mary's tweezers. I only have about 400 pair around here. Okay, there we go. Now, I feel like I want, yeah, I want that right there. And so when you're placing your flowers, you just kind of want to place them where you think they might go the best and check it out before you glue. Check twice, glue once, for sure. All right, so that's the front of the card. We're going to add a couple of embellishments once we get the inside done. And that's pretty much done. All we have to do is adhere our stamped inside to a So Saffron mat. And the reason that we're doing that is because it just kind of classes it up a little bit. All right. So these are great cards to have in your stash for those loved ones and friends that are going through a tough time. Okay, so there's our inside. I'm going to give that a little pop down there. And now to finish it off, I've got some of these dragonfly trinkets. I'm going to add a glue dot to the back of this guy. And set it right there. And then we've got some milky adhesives, or adhesive back dots. Adhesive back milky dots. Yeah, say that 3 times fast. All right, and I don't know what color this is down here, but I think it was really pretty. I really liked it. So we're just going to add it here. It does almost look like Petal Pink or Blush Brother. Blushing Bride. I think I'm just going to use those two. All right. So here's today's card. Pretty easy. Not bad at all. We're just going to add a little DSP to the back of this envelope and then we will be done. So next week, hopefully I'll be in better shape. I won't be so nervous. Date will be over. Hopefully baby girl will be able to come home and watch baby brother. I don't know if her school schedule is going to allow that. But this mommy will be really happy to have them both in the same place for the first time since Christmas. So, all right. So Watch my cards for the week. Watch my reels out there on Instagram to get some more inspiration. Don't forget about Celebration. If you need a catalog, give me a shout out. I'll get you one out in the mail. And here's today's card. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week, 7 o'clock again, for another card tutorial. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and we'll see ya.